Well, hey parents, how's it going? Welcome to our parent e-meeting for the 2020-2021 school year. First of all, before we jump into anything regarding Velocity, I just want you to know that we are praying for you, man. I hope remote learning has gone okay so far for those of you doing that path. For those of you sending your kids to school, I hope that's going well. Whatever your kids are doing this fall, I know it's going to look a little bit different for them. So just know that here at Velocity, man, me and our small group leaders, we've been praying for you through this time, whatever school looks like for all of you. I know my kids are on remote learning with Sylvania, but they go back to like a hybrid model next week and everything keeps changing. So man, just know that we are with you, we are for you, we are praying for you and your family during this time. Hope everything is going well, and I hope we're getting back to some semblance of normalcy in all of our lives as we're getting back into school and everything that entails now. All right, so back to business for Velocity. Velocity starts in 1 week, and man, we are so stoked. We have our big party next week, and today we're having planning meetings all day to get things ready for worship. We're meeting with our production team tonight to plan all of our games for the fall. We're getting all the pieces in place, everything to make this year of Velocity, just an incredible experience for your kids. My purpose for this meeting here, what we're going to try and do is kind of give you a vision for my heart for Velocity Student Ministries this year. We're going to talk through some of the things your kids will be learning here at Velocity in junior high and high school. And then at the end of the meeting, I'll kind of let you know when this is coming because some of you know this already. But for those of you who your kids are new to Velocity, I'll kind of walk you through what a typical night at Velocity will look like for your students and what you need to get them involved too, what you need to do to get them involved. But the first thing we wanted to do is just share with you some of the steps we're taking to keep your kids safe, trying to be in accordance with the laws coming forward or the executive orders or the requests or whatever's going on. We've been trying to keep our ear to the ground with all of that stuff and try to figure out how best to implement what we can here at Velocity for your kids, for your students, to give them a safe experience and a fun experience as well, while still trying to hold true to what we do here at Velocity and still make it a great experience. So we wanted to let you know a couple things we're going to be putting into place starting next Wednesday at the big party. First of all, man, if your kids aren't planning on coming to the big party on Wednesday, September 16th, man, make it a part of your plans for next week. I know it's going to be crazy. I know some kids are going back to school, our Sylvania and Ohio kids next week, if they haven't already in some districts. But man, make this a priority because our big party this year is going to be so sick. We're going to do it outside in the parking lot. Oh, I shouldn't have said sick because COVID. Going to be rad, dope, I don't know, whatever the kids say these days. It's going to be fun, dude, and we're going to do it in the parking lot. We're going to have some inflatables that we'll be able to actually use with social distancing. We're going to do one called Meltdown where each kid stands on their own platform and a bar spins around and tries to knock them off, which obviously, if you're not comfortable with that, kids can opt out. It's just going to be there for fun if the kids want to do it. But we have some inflatables. We're going to have free pizza and pop. We're going to have our band rocking out in the parking lot out there, a live DJ, bonfire, 9 Square, all kinds of stuff. Oh, and some sick tie-dye shirts. If your kids want to make a tie-dye shirt, those will be available for only $5 a piece. That's the only thing they'll need money for. Everything else is entirely free. So man, highly encourage your kids to come check this out. It's the perfect time for them to bring friends. The message we do at the big party is just about why being a part of Velocity is a good idea in junior high and high school. So get your kids here, man. It's going to be a blast. But starting then and moving forward from there, some of the changes we're implementing. So what Velocity will look like if your student comes on a large group night, which again, I know it sounds a little confusing, but for junior hires, if they come on a first or third Wednesday, that's a large group for them. Second and fourth is small groups, and then it's the opposite for high schoolers. You don't need to worry too much about that because we'll direct them where they need to be. Just bring them here every Wednesday at 6 o'clock, and then our program goes from 7 to 8:30. But what we'll be doing, we're hoping to have Velocity large group outside as long as we can until it gets too cold for us to do it, and obviously weather permitting because we're coming up on a rainy season here in Michigan and Ohio. But we're going to try and have Velocity outside. We'll be using the same setup they use on Sunday mornings, and we'll do Velocity in the parking lot. That way kids don't have to worry about wearing masks unless they want to, and we'll make sure people are social distancing, things like that. So for those large group nights, the only thing we do ask is that you have your kids bring a chair for that, so we don't have to set up too many chairs chairs outside because we don't really have outside chairs. We set up our inside chairs outside, but with teenagers falling over, breaking, things like that. So bring a chair, have your kid bring a chair on their large group nights, which we'll post those on social media if you get confused about those as well. Which night is outdoor, which night is inside. In the event of rain, we will be coming here into the attic to have worship, so make sure your kid brings a mask with them every week, because for our large group nights, if we are here in the attic, kids will be required to wear masks. We're actually getting a bunch of Velocity masks printed that we'll be selling for a minimal fee. So if they need one, they can buy a mask from us, and those will be on sale at the big party as well, so they can buy one of those if they'd like to. We're also gonna have some new t-shirts, Velocity t-shirts on sale there as well. So in the event of rain, we will come in here to the attic. If they don't have a mask, we'll provide one for them. And we'll have our seats spaced out 6 feet apart. We will not be doing any games that require contact. We'll be doing everything we can for social distancing. Masks will not be required outside, but again, for inside, they will. We'll ask kids at our large group meetings, no hugs, no high fives, air hugs, air high fives, We'll do everything we can, but also if you could help us out by encouraging your students to maintain social distancing, even if you don't feel like it's a real thing, some other families do, and we want everyone to feel comfortable sending their kids here to Velocity. So across the board, we're gonna be enforcing social distancing, but if you can help us on the home front with reinforcing that with your kids, that'll be helpful as well. The Links booth will be outside. That's where your kids normally check in when they come to Velocity. We'll be setting that up outside, really easy. We'll have touchless. We'll probably just have our Links booth people actually checking them in, so not all the kids are touching the same screen, things like that. But they'll be able to check in outside, right outside the main doors. It'll be really obvious where to go. We're just giving you a heads up about what we're doing. And then students will be required to maintain social distancing of at least 6 feet at all times. So that's what our outdoor gatherings will look like. Again, none of the games will be contact games. We'll make sure we can enforce and keep enforcing social distancing. And then backup plan is here in the attic, and we'll move the seats, we'll space them 6 feet apart, all that kind of stuff. So that's large group gatherings. So what to expect on small group nights? So again, small group nights for junior hires are the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays, high schoolers 1st and 3rd Wednesdays. But again, we'll direct them where to go. You don't even need to remember that. All you need to know is bring them every Wednesday here for Velocity. But our small groups, they'll be gathering in different spaces throughout the church. We'll ask the kids to wear their masks while walking through the public areas of the church, but then once they get into the room where their small group is and take a seat, they'll be able to take their masks off inside because most of our groups are under 10 people anyway. But we do ask they still bring a mask every single week. Just have your kid bring a mask with them. We ask that they wear a mask until they get into their groups, and then if they want to, they can take it off. And of course, if they're more comfortable with it on, or you're more comfortable having them wearing it, they can leave it on for the night as well. All right. We are going to maintain social distancing in our small groups. We'll make sure all the areas have enough room where kids can sit 6 feet apart from each other. Again, if kids don't have a mask to wear inside, we'll provide one for them. Just know that's coming because we're trying to be in accordance with governmental guidelines and things like that. After groups are in their meeting spaces again and seated with at least 6 feet between all of them, they can remove their mask. But if they have to go to the bathroom or at the end of the night, we'll have them put their masks back on. Again, we'll have some free masks available for kids who don't have them, and we'll have those Velocity masks available for sale as well if they want to buy one of those for a minimal fee. Basically, we're going to charge what it costs us to make them. So that's what that'll be. All right. Couple of things to have your kids ask themselves. I'm sure you guys have heard this a million times at school and work, wherever else, but you're going to hear it again because we want to make sure all parents are just well aware. Have your kids ask themselves, am I feeling sick today? Am I showing any flu-like symptoms? Have I had a fever of 100.4 degrees or higher in the past 14 days? Have I had prolonged exposure to someone who has tested positive for COVID-19? And is there any medical reason why they shouldn't be around other people? And if they've answered yes to any of those questions, we strongly encourage your kids to stay home. We want to keep everyone safe. We want everyone feeling safe as well. So if you can help reinforce that with your kids, man, we would really appreciate it. And a couple precautions we're taking: hand sanitizer stations are available all throughout the church. We strongly encourage kids to use those. we'll have one right outside the doors to the Velocity room. There's plenty of them in the concourse, so your kids will pass probably five or six of them on their way to their small group, and we'll have them outside as well on the weeks that we have large group outside. Seats in the attic, again, will be spaced 6 feet apart, and the attic's our backup space if we can't meet outside because of weather. And then all doors will remain open and fans will run during services for adequate ventilation. We have a giant fan here in the attic that gives us really good ventilation, so we'll be definitely using that during Velocity. And then I wanted to also share with you our church statement on COVID-19, just to know, so you know where we stand as a church. So that statement is as follows: your safety is our number one priority, and we feel that Crossroads is taking the necessary precautions to provide a safe experience. However, please understand that when you attend services or Velocity in person here at Crossroads, you do so at your own risk. Crossroads is not responsible for the possible contracting of COVID-19 or any other illness. The decision to attend services or Velocity in person is completely up to you. So please be sure you feel confident in your decision. All right, so that's all of our COVID-19 stuff. If you can't remember all this, it'll be posted on our website, crossroadson23.com/students. So you can go there and check out all of this as well. We'll probably be posting that sometime later today, maybe tomorrow. So you can go through all of those. And if you want to go through them with your kids, you're more than welcome to. We'll be sharing all this stuff at the big party with them. And kind of letting them know what the year is going to look like here at Velocity. But our desire is to have in-person gatherings until someone tells us we can't. Because one thing we learned, and I know a lot of you learned this as well, I know a lot of you are trying to get your kids into watching online Velocity, but it's just not the same. You know, one of the biggest selling points here at Velocity is we help kids create meaningful friendships. We help them build relationships with each other, with their small group leaders. So when we lose that opportunity to do that, it becomes really hard to do ministry in the way we desire to do it. So as long as it's safe for us to do so, as long as we're allowed to do so, we will be having youth ministry here at Crossroads every Wednesday night starting next week in person, and those are the steps we'll take to make sure your kids are safe, our leaders are safe, everybody's safe, and having a great time. All right? If you have any questions about those, please feel free to reach out to me. My email address is mordus@crossroadson23.com, MORDUS. And you can feel free to email me anytime. You can call the church. You can call my cell phone if you have my cell phone number, or I can include it, you know, whatever. Anything we can do to make sure you feel safe having your kids here at Velocity, we want to make sure we're doing that. So now our vision for the year, now that we move past the COVID-19 stuff, that's everything we're doing. Our vision for the year, man, always here at Velocity, is for our junior high students. We want to help them pursue a relationship with Jesus. For our high school students, we want to help them become passionate about their relationship with Jesus. So that's why we're here, man. That's what we're doing. We have our mission statement here at Velocity. You know, we say that we want to help awaken students to who God is, because especially, you know, during political seasons of unrest and everything else going on, people throw around God's name and use God's name for all these different purposes and everything else. We want to straight up awaken your kids to who God the Father is and his desire for their lives. And that's what we're going to try and do here at Velocity. We also want to help them discover their personal gifting and ministries. You know, here at Velocity, you hear me say all the time, and your kids have heard it a million times, we believe every single person walking God's green earth was created on purpose and for a purpose. And here at Velocity, you know, we love seeing students come alive in Jesus Christ and discover what their personal gifting and ministry is that they've received from Jesus. And then once we help them discover that, we want to give them opportunities to impact their world for Jesus Christ. So 4 key words: friendships. We want to help them create friendships, awaken to who God is, discover their personal ministry, and impact their world for Jesus. So that's what we're trying to do here at Velocity. How we do that, you know, with our large group gatherings, we give them relevant messages. We introduce some cool music to them that, you know, hopefully we play at their level. Our worship at Velocity is a little bit different. It's very jumpy. We have some rap sometimes. We have some screaming sometimes, just because we want to show kids that there's more ways to worship Jesus than they could ever imagine. There's more ways to enter into the presence of God than they can ever imagine. So we want to show them that no matter what kind of music you like, no matter what kind of teaching. If you're a visual learner, an audible learner, there is a way for you to connect with Jesus. So we try to approach it from all angles here at Velocity. We have some experiential things we do. We do some art projects here at Velocity because we realize some kids are better learners with their hands than just watching or listening. We do everything we can at our large group nights to engage your students in worshiping Jesus Christ. And then we also, through our small groups, man, we know and understand, because there have been people who've researched this stuff. Why do kids walk away from the church? What all the researchers have pointed to is if kids can make 5 significant connections with adults in their church, they are way less likely to walk away from the church. So that's why our small groups exist. You know, at Velocity, we have about 125 kids that we reach on a weekly basis. And, our average attendance is about 90, but kids who come to Velocity, we actually get about 350 kids per year that walk through our doors here at Velocity. And so, it's impossible for me as a youth pastor to reach out to all those kids. And that's why we have all of our small group leaders. And we have some incredible small group leaders. We have some new ones this year, Kendra Baruti and Ashley McKenzie. We just have some incredible people who love our students here at Velocity, who their job at small group nights, even at large group nights, they're here as well, is to connect with your kids and be another voice speaking into your kids' life to help them become a passionate follower of Jesus. So our hope is, by the time your kid graduates from high school, whether they're in 6th grade or 9th grade right now, by the time they graduate, they are going to have strong relationships with adults in the life of the church. So when they graduate from Velocity, they have friends, they have peers, and they have mentors right here at Crossroads that will keep them feeling like Crossroads is home. Not just Velocity is home, but Crossroads is their home as well. So that's why we do small groups. How to get your student involved? Simple, just show up. Bring them here on a Wednesday night. We open our doors at 6 o'clock. Programming starts at 7. The grill is going to be open this fall. We're taking necessary precautions to make sure that is done safely, working with our grill staff on that. Just so you know, there's some behind the scenes people that if you see them at church, give them air hug, thank them. Jennifer French is the one who stocks our grill. Jacqueline Freshour, Jackie, a lot of you know her. She's one of the elders at our church. And she also helps me set the schedule and make sure there are people every week working the grill. So make sure you thank them. The grill will be open from 6 to 7. And then we'll just have some games, some activities for your kids to do, socially distant activities for them to do, to meet some other students and to connect with their small group leaders as well. When you bring your student here, if it's their first time ever coming to Velocity, we'll give them a little gift. We'll introduce them to their small group leader. So right out of the gate, they will have a connection with someone. So you bring your kids to the big party. If they've never been to Velocity, they will meet their small group leader right away and have someone that they can form a connection with right out of the gate. We're really passionate about that. So just bring them. They'll check in at our links booth. We'll get a little bit of information from them for emergency contacts and contact information to follow up. If you're wondering why we ask your kids for their address, it's not so we can spam you, bro, and send you a bunch of stuff. It's so we can connect with them and send them a personal handwritten note letting them know we're so thankful they were able to come and check out Velocity with us. So that's all you got to do. If you're wondering, well, how do I register? How do I get them signed up? Just bring them, man. Bring them on a Wednesday night starting next week to the big party, and we'll take care of everything for you, all right? You might be wondering also how to get involved yourself. I know some of you look at this as like, bro, this is my date night. Me and my wife, my husband, we go out to dinner. It's perfect. But man, we highly, highly, highly rely on parents such as yourself to make Velocity happen. And there's so many ways to get involved. Maybe you might say, all right, it is my date night, but I'll give y'all one night a month. We have childcare if you have younger kids. So if you can give us one night a month even, or maybe even two, working at the grill. We always need help at the grill. It's so simple. We have food that we deep fry it. So it's you take it out of the freezer, you drop it in the fryer, you take it out, you serve it to the kids. It's very simple, and it's a way that if your kids are like, I'm embarrassed, I don't want my parents here, you can hide behind the grill, bro. And but we always need help there, whether it's as a cashier, whether it's as a cook. Again, it's very simple cooking, and the grill is a vital part of what we do here at Velocity because we're what we call a commuter church. People drive, 15, 20, 30 minutes to get here for Velocity. So sometimes that doesn't leave time to eat after, sports or band or whatever it is. So we need your help. So come hang out with us, man. It's so simple. Or we also have our links booth, which is another opportunity to plug in. That's run by Renee Brown, who does an incredible job. It's our first point of contact with these kids. And if you say, I don't want to be a small group leader, I don't want to work in the grill, but I could stand there and help kids check in and get connected. Again, a vital part of what we do here at Velocity to make sure we can connect with the kids and make sure they were seen and they were known. Okay, so that's another really important part of what we do. There's some behind the scenes roles. If you say, you know what, I don't really want to work with teenagers, I more just prefer to get rid of them one night a week, but you really want to support our ministry, we've been looking for a fundraising guru for years. Someone who can help us plan and orchestrate some fundraisers. Those are the kind of things that I try my best to give some opportunities, but it's just tough, man. So if you're like, man, I've done fundraising for my job or for Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or soccer or football, and I'd love to do that. I'm totally administrative person. Please contact me because we do some trips throughout the year. We do winter camp at Spring Hill. We do summer mission trips for our high schoolers. And we're always looking for ways to make these trips affordable. We never want cost to prohibit a kid from coming. So having some fundraisers is the way that we can do that. So if you're interested, or even if you'd be interested on being on a team, working with some other people, because you'd say, yeah, I want every kid, including my own kids, bro, to be able to afford to go to these camps, please contact me, let me know, and we'll talk about getting some of those things in motion. Other behind the scenes jobs, we have, people who order small group supplies for us, people who fill the bins for us, people who print out the curriculum for us. We have a lot of different ways to get plugged in here at Velocity, and I'd love to share some of those with you. So if you want to get involved, you can respond to this email. Or you can check the comments. If you're watching on YouTube, my email is there, or just leave a comment and say, I'd like to get more involved, and we'll contact you and let you know about some things you can try out. You could try out the grill. We do something here at Crossroads called Sample It, and you could try it and see, maybe you are passionate about deep frying food and you just never knew it, bro. You just needed the opportunity. So leave a comment below, and we'd love to get you plugged in. A couple more things. I know this video is getting kind of long, but thank you for hanging out with us. We started doing e-meetings because we realized, there's no good night of the week where we could reach all of our parents, but all of you can check out a half-hour video, and things like that. So real quick, I want to run through some of the things we'll be working through with your kids this year at Velocity. Our high schoolers, we're going to be tackling some tough issues this year that I'm actually pretty excited about. We're going to be going through a series called Totally Mental, which is a series basically talking about depression and mental illness. We've seen a lot of people and a lot of teenagers struggling with this, especially during quarantine. Instances or diagnoses of depression, anxiety have gone way up. So we want to have honest conversations. So we'll be leading those in our large group meetings, talking about things like depression is not a sin. And it is something that God wants to walk through you with and help pull you out of. We'll be talking about things like you're not alone if you've experienced that. And then we'll also talk about some misconceptions and lies about depression and mental illness. Having these conversations. We're going to have some small group series that we'll be doing. We'll have a small group conversation about race and about, God's heart for race and the racial divide and all that kind of stuff. Just because, again, we know this is a hot button issue right now, and we don't want to avoid that. We want the church to be a safe place to ask questions, to have conversations about this kind of stuff. We'll be doing a Christmas series called All I Want for Christmas with our small groups for junior high and high school that is all about generosity and putting others first. And then in the spring, we'll be doing a series called All Things New with our junior hires and high schoolers, talking about how Jesus Christ offers us a new resolution, a new hope, and a new life. And then we'll be doing some Easter stuff as well with our junior hires. Same kind of thing, same kind of themes. We're going to be talking about authentic faith, making their faith personal with Jesus. We'll be doing that All I Want for Christmas series with them as well, and talking about generosity and putting others first. We'll be doing that All Things New series with them as well. And then also with our junior hires, we'll be doing an Easter series, but we'll also be doing a series called None of Your Business. which is a series about sex and dating and relationships. And some of you may be thinking, my son or daughter doesn't even know about all that kind of stuff yet. Bro, if they're in public school, they do. My son started asking me questions when he was in 4th grade about this because he was getting a message from other 4th graders about sex and what it means and what it's for. So we're gonna have a conversation with our junior hires in a large group setting, and then we'll break into groups by gender and grade to have them answer questions, ask questions, all that kind of stuff. So we'll be sending out more information about specifically what we'll be tackling, but trust me, my son is 11. He's going to be a 6th grader. I wouldn't say anything in front of him that I wouldn't say anything in front of your kids that I wouldn't say in front of him. Actually, I'd probably say a lot more in front of him than I will in front of your kids because he's my boy. But that's an issue. Again, one of those issues that comes up, they're going to have questions about, and we want to point them towards Jesus. Our winter camps, we're hoping to do them. We're waiting to hear from Spring Hill if they're going to be doing the winter camps this year. If they are, we'll be there, and we'll be announcing those probably in early October. And then for our senior high summer mission trip, we're still trying to figure out what that might look like as well. We're contemplating, because we were supposed to go to the Free Methodist Youth Conference this year, but that got pushed back. So we're thinking about maybe doing a mission trip to Detroit with our high school kids, keep it very affordable, have them all come, and it'd be a really cool experience. So that's kind of what we're looking at, man. That's what the year we're looking at, all that kind of stuff. I hope you decide, parents, to engage your kids and make this a part of their weekly rhythm, being here at Velocity. I know in the fall there's sports and everything else, but I would encourage you, even if they can't be here till like 7:30 or 8 on Wednesday nights, still have them come, because we want to create a rhythm in their life that makes Velocity a part of their weekly routine. So if you'd be willing to partner with us in doing that, we would love to have your kids be a part of Velocity here and to help them become passionate followers of Jesus. Thank you for hanging out this long. For those of you who are old, old pros and veterans of Velocity, you can check out at this time. And this next piece will be for those of you who your kids have never been here before. Again, I just wanted to share what a typical evening at Velocity will look like for your kids. You can drop them off anytime from 6 to 7. We'll have the connection booth out there. They'll know exactly where to go. There will be no confusion about it. And from 6 to 7, that is just kind of a gathering time. Kids can buy food from our grill. We sell things like mozzarella sticks, chicken chunks, French fries, all kinds of healthy options, obviously. And that's one of the things we provide. They can play 9 square if the weather's decent, just a time to gather and get to know their small group leaders and other kids here at Velocity as well. And then 7 o'clock program starts. So if your student comes on a small group night, once 7 o'clock hits, they'll be directed to their small group room, where they'll be in a group just with other kids in their grade. And a small group night, usually it's a lot like adult small groups that we do here at Crossroads, except we also do a game, because we're a lot more fun than the adult small groups. Unless adult small groups do games too, I don't know. But they'll play a game together, they'll watch a 10-minute video together, they'll walk through some discussion questions, they'll pray for each other, they'll learn how to pray for one another. And then also our small groups throughout the year do different activities together as well. They might go on a hayride, they might go play laser tag, they might go bowling. We give them those opportunities and that flexibility. We have them do a Christmas party together, all in the interest of helping them build significant, meaningful friendships with each other and relationships with their small group leaders. So whether they're in junior high or high school, they'll be in those groups, and it's just a way to connect them, get them more connected to Crossroads and to calling Crossroads home and to calling Jesus their Savior. So that's the goal with those small groups. Youth group, our large group meetings look a little bit different. They gather, again, hopefully outside, weather permitting, or if not, here in the attic. We do worship with them. We kind of try to teach junior hires and high schoolers how to engage in worship and make them an active participant in the music portion of worship. We play games with them up here in the attic, which of course this year will be non-contact because COVID, or Rona, if you will. And then they'll hear a message. Our messages are about 25 minutes long. Usually I'm the one preaching them. Sometimes we'll have one of our teaching team, Josh Walter, Jared Spindler might be preaching a message as well. There'll be messages geared towards junior hires or high schoolers, depending on which grade they're in. And our goal with those is just to introduce these different topics from a biblical perspective. A lot of times our teaching will be topical, and if not, we'll be going through a book of the Bible. Just everything we teach is straight from the Bible, heavily Bible oriented and Bible centered. And our goal is just to get them excited about pursuing a life with Jesus. That's what it is. This is the attic here. If you've never seen it before, our first week for the big party, we'll give you a tour. We'll bring you up here if you'd like to see it. But man, again, everything starts next week with our big party. We are so excited to get back to Velocity, to get things rolling again. And as always, if you have any questions about anything we're doing, please do not hesitate to ask me. And we're just pumped, man. We're pumped to hit the ground running for Velocity for the 2020-2021 year. And we hope you will be too. Pray for us. We would beg you to pray for us, for our leaders, as we're getting ready and training and getting everything set to launch next week. We would love to have those prayers from you, and know that, again, we are praying for you in this year that looks a little bit different. We're praying for you and your family. We love you, and man, thank you so much for allowing us to partner with you to disciple your kids into passionate followers of Jesus. Thanks so much for the time, and we'll see you all real soon. See you guys.